Hello and welcome to Tea Time, Time to Talk. Today I am with a breast cancer survivor. Another one. There are so many different people. As you know, breast cancer affects the lives of so many people. And so I think it's so exciting and interesting and helpful to talk to a variety of individuals who have gone through breast cancer. Both men and women can get breast cancer, but obviously, primarily it's in women. So, for those of you who are either listening or watching, before we even get started, know that you can find us later for questions or comments or to tell your story as well, either on YouTube or on creationbalance.com, which you see right behind me here. And you can also email me at creationbalance@yahoo.com. So I'm Cindy Collins and I'm with Denise today, and we're talking about breast cancer, her experience, but with tea, of course. So I'm pouring some ginger lemon tea.
Hmm.
And I know, like in cancer, a lot of people talk about ginger for nausea, but honestly, ginger is just a really healthy spice to have. It wakes you up, it perks you up. It is good for your GI tract, but it's also a little bit of an antibacterial. So, isn't it just makes a nice tea? What about you, Denise? What are you having today?
I'm having green tea.
Fantastic. And we all
Yeah,
know green tea is high in antioxidants.
that's right.
So that is the
Exactly.
tea.
Yes.
So interestingly enough, white tea and black tea are also pretty much as high as green tea. And you can
Hmm.
get it decaf or caffeinated. Do you know which one yours is?
Decaf. Yeah, decaf.
Okay. All right, great. All
Yeah.
right, so thank you so much for being with me. And I thought we would start out today just by remembering back, when you were first diagnosed and kind of describing what that was like.
Mhm.
I think that a lot of people relate to that experience. And how long ago was that you were first diagnosed?
Um, March of uh, March of 2021.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. Right.
Tell us all about it.
So when I went for an annual mammogram, I was kept there for several hours, and they did the mammogram, and then they came back in and said go in the waiting room, and then they did the sonogram, and then they took a lot of time, so something wasn't quite right. So I had to go out and call my boss and say, I'm sorry, I'm really late for work. I thought I'd be there by now, but I'm still here. So internally, I was getting upset, thinking there is something wrong. That barometer inside of you goes, oh no, something's not quite right. I just highly recommend people to really do your self breast exams as well as don't miss your annual exams because that's how they found a lump on my right breast, and
Mhm.
I had to do a lumpectomy. So it's just so important. First of all, you're in shock, and for
Mhm.
me, I thought it was like a waking dream. I was like,
Mhm.
what is happening to me, and how did this
Mhm.
happen to me? And so all these things, thoughts go through your mind of, oh my goodness, my new
Right.
my new reality is me getting through this cancer and
Mm.
this this passage in my life. Uh,
Absolutely. Can I just
yeah,
go back to what the beginning too? I don't want to miss any of this because right away when you said they kept me there, that I hear that all the time. No one is prepared for that,
mm-mm.
but something's wrong, and there
Right,
you sit with it
right,
growing and welling up in you, the fear, the
yes,
anxiety, the
right,
whatever you're feeling. That experience in itself, it sounds so difficult, and something's coming, you
right,
know. I mean,
yes,
how can you
yes,
possibly ever be prepared? No
right,
wonder, like you described it, like a waking dream. Like,
right,
is this really real? In
right,
psychology, we call that healthy denial. Like it's healthy to, because you're not going to
right,
quite take it all in yet,
right.
so it seems very surreal. How long did that last? Do you remember when, or did it gradually feel very real and concrete? Or what do you remember about just that part of it?
Oh, I think you're just kind of stunned, and
Hmm.
you're in that stunned mode until
Hmm.
you get to your surgeon, and
Hmm.
then you get to your oncologist. So, when you get to your breast surgeon, I had such a fantastic surgeon, and he just really, made me feel a lot better that things were it's going to be hard. It's going to be processed. You're going to go through many stages of cancer. But I had a good support system. So, just having my husband was just, enormous right there. So,
Yeah, that's
um,
fantastic to
yeah,
have the support right away. And look at what you said also right away, key, a good surgeon, somebody
right,
who's confident, who's
right,
reassuring, gives you an
right,
idea of what to
right.
expect. Do you feel like they laid out some pretty good expectations, or
Yeah, I
because
feel
it's
like
not
they,
always true, you know?
yeah, I feel like they laid out the good expectations. I mean, I would go to the doctor's office, and in the lobby there would be headspace on, and I've been a big meditator, since I went to Akron U. So, I'm really a firm believer of meditation. And
Mhm,
I think that really helps calm down the central nervous system because you have such anxiety when you're
mhm,
going through cancer, and that you need that meditation to really help you. I know my aunt Jenny, she is a breast cancer survivor. She had a cat called Kutsi Marie, and Kutsi Marie jumped on her chest one day, and she felt all this pain on her chest. And she was like, "Oh my goodness, I need to get to the doctor." And she, had a double mastectomy. But sometimes our pets are so intuitive when we're ill. I mean,
right.
you've probably been ill with the flu or something, and your pet will just lay there with you and be there with you,
Oh, yeah.
nurture you through it.
And I've
So,
heard multiple stories of people realizing something was wrong and having had a cancer diagnosed from a pet. So that is an amazing story. Yeah,
right.
thank
Yeah, she
goodness you
said,
paid attention to it, you
right.
know?
Oh, right. And she would say, Kutsi Marie saved my life.
Yeah.
So, we always have to be listening, listening to ourselves, listening to our bodies, listening to, our pets, as well. So, um, we had a situation where I wanted to get our Vizsla, puppy had our Vizsla had died, and we got a puppy in Tennessee. So when I had my cancer, I had to go through the radiation treatments, and I didn't have the strength or the stamina for a puppy,
Mhm.
so I really, didn't know what to do. But we reached out to the Tampa Bay Vizsla Club, and
Mhm.
they uh, they found someone to take our puppy that was just 10 weeks um,
Oh,
until I was finished with my radiation treatments. And Megan, she lived an hour from us, north, and she was just so gracious. She had her own company, Swift Paws. Actually, she was on Shark Tank as
oh
well.
wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
But she took our puppy, and I'll never forget that imprint, in your life where something like that happens when you need somebody and you don't have
Yeah.
any family in the state of Florida with you. Um,
Uh-huh.
because I don't have any family here. Um,
Uh-huh.
she's just like an extended family that just reached out and said, I'll step in.
That is so amazing. I didn't even know that that kind of service was available. That's
Yeah,
fantastic. So basically, she was fostering the puppy
yeah,
until you were ready for her.
yes. Well, I was ready.
That's really
Yes,
nice.
yes, to go back up and get him when I was well. And
Yeah.
it just was a remarkable experience because for myself, I realized I need to serve more. I need to be available more. I need to be selfless more, just like this person. So,
Mm-hmm.
is running a company, is busy and has a family and has a farm. So I think things like that, when you don't know how to ask for help,
Mm-hmm.
and then somebody's right there. So it's just very very appreciative and thankful.
Yeah,
Yeah.
another really great point. I mean, the first one about make sure you get your mammograms, don't put those off. And then also, having support and listening. And from what you're saying, I hear more than listening to your body, but paying attention. What's going on? How is my pet acting? What's going on in life? Really being aware and being present with your
Hmm.
health in
Hmm.
general, your body, your mind, your spirit, what's going on,
Right,
so that, and then acting on what you
right,
do know. So
right,
it's so
right,
interesting. And then asking
right,
for help is so hard for so many people. They really wouldn't even know where to go, or, but there
no,
are resources all around us. You just have to start asking until you
right,
get to the right person. So
right.
now you have the dog still. from
Right. So
them.
now we still have to be treated.
That's so sweet. Our pets are so important, aren't they?
So they're so important. They bring
Yeah.
so much joy and love, and it's
Hmm.
just wonderful. Yeah. Hmm.
So you said you had a lumpectomy.
Hmm.
So, and after that, you had further treatment after the lumpectomy?
Oh, well, yes. They wait a while before they start the radiation treatments.
Okay.
And then you go through the radiation treatments for quite some time. And then when you're finished with that, you just, you go through another stage of just like
Hmm.
feeling a little depressed and the
Hmm.
sadness and just,
Hmm.
I had headaches. And so, have different side effects from the whole process. And,
Hmm.
just reaching out to get the help you need is, I think, is finding cancer patients really need a good support system, so
Hmm.
that you can talk to people, because I was afraid to tell my husband how scared I was and how sad I
Hmm.
was feeling. So
Hmm.
I was just trying to had that alter ego being really strong, but
Hmm.
in the inside you're like, oh, wish I had
Yeah.
somebody else to talk to.
Yeah.
So having other people to talk to, I think, is
Yeah.
really important. um,
Yeah.
After my treatment, I got involved with the Live Strong program
Okay. Yeah.
at the YMCA. And
Hmm.
that was extremely helpful because, you know, they have an exercise program where they're teaching you, how to do cardio and weights and
Hmm.
balance exercises, because the medications that you're taking can, affect your balance. So
Hmm.
you would do different balance exercises and stretch bands, and just get familiar with the gym and gym equipment and how to use it. And, and then having a support system before we started, went into the gym, we would have you know, half an hour just to talk back and forth about how we were feeling and what we were going through. And you learned an enormous amount of information of what people were going through, and how you could give them suggestions and help each
Hmm.
other.
That's
So,
so fantastic. So I just want to applaud you for bringing up something that's not always put on the table, but privately, of course, because of the work I do, I know that patients go through it, is there's a sadness that can come over you, and just also like you feel ungrounded or you don't have your footing, and it's all new, it's a new experience, there's a lot of uncertainty, and a lot of people are holding up an exterior for either their home, their children, their husband, their work, whoever. They're not really showing everyone this, I'm really going through more emotionally than I'm showing you. And I really appreciate you bringing that up because it's so true, and it's normal. It's normal physiologically, first of all. I mean, we could talk about, the things that are the neurotransmitters and other chemical things that are going on in your body from treatment, post surgery, et cetera, that can give you a depressed feeling. But we don't have to, because it's also just normal mentally, because you're going through a brand new experience. It's disrupted your life. You're uncertain about what's going to happen. Everything is changing, your body, there's a lot of change and a lot to adapt to. Even your balance can be affected, and that sadness you carry with you. There has to be a way to get support. And so I love the way you reached out to this combination support group exercise. There's so much in that for patients. First of all, the shared experience with other people, but then
right,
guidance, like the
right,
guidance they give you, because not everyone
right,
really knows about
right,
getting into a gym. And then sometimes, like post surgery, for example, there are things you cannot do
right,
until you're recovered enough,
right,
lifting and things like
right,
that with your arms and your shoulders. So
right.
that's great. Yeah, the Lance Armstrong Strong Live Strong program is still going really well, and they have partnered up with the not only the YMCA's, but I have learned, at least from my experience, that they partnered up with the JCCs as well. And in different states, it might be with any number of gyms, that I don't really know about. So
Right,
that's a really
right,
good thing to look
right,
into. So either
right,
look into that, it's on the internet, you can find
right,
it, or
right,
call your local gym. And they may
right,
even
right,
have, now I'm
right,
starting to run into trainers and massage therapists and people who have done some kind of a certification for cancer as well. They have some knowledge about cancer patients, and
mhm,
that's fantastic. That's
mhm.
really Really good. So the exercise also in the research for breast cancer seems to be part of the association. It's a factor associated with staying in remission. So it feels good, you feel better, you're healthier, but it also might be one of those things that keeps you cancer free. So
Right,
that's
right,
super important,
right,
right?
right,
Yeah.
right, right. Because the statistics of getting cancer again are high. So now, as a cancer survivor, every day in your mind, you're always thinking, I've got to keep these good habits. I've got to
Mhm.
learn these good habits and
Mhm.
integrate it into my mind, body, and spirit so that, that you don't go through this again. So that dedication is really there for yourself. At least it is for me. So
Mhm.
my journey of doing qigong and the different things that you've taught me over the years to do is
Yeah.
extremely valuable. Looking at my nutrition and writing
Mhm.
down my daily nutrition of what I'm eating. But you always taught us that if you're doing your nutrition log, don't leave out your exercise log right below it.
Exactly.
What are you
I'm
doing to
hearing
move?
myself. Yeah.
Right. What are you doing to move all
Yeah.
day?
Yeah. Are you
Um,
moving?
so, right, are you moving? And then just having the collaboration of, being able to text people and let them know what you've done for exercise
Yeah.
is so important as
I
well.
love hearing that, Denise. You're reminding me. I remember when we first spoke about this statistic that's out there that if you have had cancer, all automatically your risk for future cancers is elevated over a person who has not, just by statistics. It
Mhm.
doesn't mean you and your body, there's something about it. It just means that because you have had cancer. So it makes
Right.
the possibility. And knowing that, I know, can be so unnerving at first because everyone is thinking, I'll get past this, get over this, and never have to think about cancer again. And that's not true, but it's really not true for any of us. We always need to be aware of what different illnesses there are. Even as we age, our
Right.
risk is increased for certain things. And then if people in our family have had it, then that increases. But rather than get bogged down and overwhelmed with that, like you said, just make it part of your life.
Hmm.
And I'm really happy to hear you mention, because of course, I really believe in logging what you do. It's very reinforcing to see
Hmm.
that you've done what you wanted to do. And it's
Right.
also really helpful. Like I
Right.
love when patients want to text with me back and forth and just log
Right.
in what you've had.
Right.
I'll be
Right.
watching, I can be
Right.
back in the
Right.
scenes, behind the
Right.
scenes,
Right.
watching. And occasionally I'll say like, how about more of this or that? But
Right.
mostly good
Right.
job, or analyze it
Right.
too. So if you have a
Right.
dietitian in your life,
Right.
or if you don't find one, if you don't know where to find one, just email
Right.
me or go to my website,
Mhm.
because besides myself, I know where to network for people for all over the US if they need a
Right.
dietitian.
Right.
So, and these days it can be done virtually too. It doesn't have to be someone who lives where you live. But yeah, I think that's so important. And we have this group exercise text
Mhm.
that anyone is welcome to join, where you just lay in what you've done and you
Mhm.
feel like, okay, I'm part of a group now. We're all in this shared effort, to get our exercise in every day. And I call it
Right.
everything counts, because
Right.
any movement does
Right.
count.
Right.
It's
Exactly.
all has
Right.
different benefits.
Right.
But yeah,
Right.
that's so.
Right.
For specifically in nutrition, do you have any specific changes, or would you feel like you were already eating healthy and you just needed to like
No.
accentuate certain things? Or for you, did you have starts and stops, like you did great for a while then fell off the path? Or how did it go for you with nutrition, because that can be really different for
So
everybody?
my goal was to lose weight. And so I
Okay.
was, just being so sedentary with my job,
Yeah.
being at the computer all the time, you're not
Mhm.
moving as much as you'd like to. So you'd given us this Dr. Weil's anti-inflammatory food pyramid of
Yeah.
so that you can see what am I eating that I need to not eat, like the white
Mhm.
potatoes, the things that are inflammatory in the body, um,
Mhm.
and look at those resources and get that off your list of what you're going to eat. So you're gonna
Mhm.
I had to change my eating habits, um, not eating mashed potatoes, you know,
or less of it, or
get
yeah.
less
So
of it.
all the
Yeah,
anti-inflammatories come in, and the pro-inflammatories, none or small amounts. So those are
yeah,
big changes to adapt
yeah,
to. So
yes,
you had to change
yeah,
what you buy
right,
and cook,
right.
and yeah,
And just like you said, the white tea, and the green teas, all those antioxidants, especially when you're going through this whole process, it really helps the body. So, and it really, you need to look for things that are really going to help your healing process. So,
yeah.
mhm.
That's
So
excellent. It's really
yeah,
excellent. And weight, has some association as well. Specifically with breast cancer, they look at the BMI. And so that's why a lot of women, when they are first diagnosed, their surgeon or their medical oncologist or somebody will mention to them, it'd be better for you, it'd be helpful if you could get to a healthier BMI, which is
right,
basically your weight for your height. If you
right.
get to a better BMI, just to decrease once again your risk,
Mhm.
of future
Right,
cancers. And that's kind
right,
of a longer term goal. There's no like crash dieting or anything. It's just a
right,
matter of
right.
slowly but surely correcting what you're eating and the amount you're eating. And
Mhm.
then what you
Right,
expend, what you
right,
burn
right,
by moving,
right,
like it all goes together.
right,
And a
right.
lot of people are working like you are at a desk and remotely like you are, where, you really have to be sitting in front of
Mhm.
the computer for
Mhm.
so many hours. So we
Mhm.
devised all kinds of ways to move even at the desk,
Right. Yeah.
besides getting up, right?
Right. Right. Exactly. Exactly. Definitely. Um, but I just think it's really important, that you take this process, uh, to find a good support system and other people to help you. And, just find things that you love to do. Like I found that I love Qigong and I love doing it. I always feel so much more relaxed after I do the Qigong sessions.
Yeah.
It's helping your meridians to balance. And
Mhm.
if you can feel calmer and feel like much better, then it helps you with your stress management. And that was one of the most important things that I had to look at because I was giving myself with work self-imposed pressure,
Mhm.
at work and stresses. So I had to be brutally honest with myself and find more tools, like just you teaching me how to breathe, close one nostril and breathe and count 6 times and then blow out on the other nostril. Just simple things like that are so easy to do.
Yeah.
And help you through your day. And I had these post-it notes on my screens at work, like
Right.
breathe, breathe again, just do these exercises. And it after a while, it becomes part of your daily of who you are, daily
Mhm.
habits. And so I'd be at a red light driving, go, okay, I think I need this. So, you have to incorporate that mind, body, and spirit so that, it's really helping you for your day to be much more calmer.
Yeah, so that's the beauty of that. And you said it earlier, it's calming the nervous system. It's not even just for the moment. Then your nervous system learns to automatically be more on the parasympathetic, restful side. It's so great that it's simple, like you said, and you can just pepper it into your day. Like in between this task and that task at the computer, look up, oh, okay, I'm going to do the 5 mini breaths, or I'm going to do the nostril breathing, or
Mhm.
and when we're talking about a minute or two or five, we can just like sort of weave it into the other things we're doing. And like
Right,
you said, driving. And I'm always
right,
saying, drive up to the place you're going, but don't get out yet.
right,
Sit in the
right,
car, just do
right,
5 breaths, then get out. Like every time
right,
you do it, pepper it through the day. It keeps
right,
you at a different level all day, a little calmer. It boosts the
right.
immune system a little. It has so many healthy effects. And the
Mm-hmm.
stress management, and you mentioned pressuring yourself. I find that cancer has like gives everyone an opportunity to learn about the stress they're already carrying and how they manage it. So we can't not have stress in life, but we can manage it differently. And we learn, well, excuse me, how were we managing it? and what are some new tools? Like you said, what are some new tools on how I can better manage even my self-imposed stress? So many of us, because of our level of conscientiousness,
Hmm.
and so we want to do everything right on time. We'll even lay extra pressures and deadlines and things onto us. Things have to be done just so, just right. And
Hmm.
because it's important to us for how we think our work or our task or, what we do, even in our relationships, we have a certain way that we want to be. And
Right.
so we lay on extra pressures, and it's not that those things aren't important to be that way, but we have to know when to let up a little,
Mhm.
give ourselves a little break and a reprieve or a pause, even a pause in life to kind of go easy for a little while, or pause the day you're not feeling as good. You worked throughout your treatment, didn't you?
I took some time off,
How
which was
much you did?
I
Okay.
took, yeah, I took a little bit of time off. So that was extremely helpful because when you go back to, working that work mode, how do you integrate all this?
Yeah.
How do you find the time to really change and integrate these things? So you really need that rest and that post um, cancer healing.
Mm-hmm.
Really embed into your subconscious of trying to change, make these positive changes. So,
Mm-hmm.
I had a book that was given to me. It was called Breast Cancer Treatment Handbook, the Comprehensive Patient Navigation Guide. And that was given to me as a patient.
Mm-hmm.
And that book is like, it has an enormous amount of information in it. And my sister lived in Dallas, but she really wanted to understand breast cancer because no one in our family had it. And
Okay.
so just having the knowledge and the information in this guidebook to kind of look up, what you're going through your
Mm-hmm.
process
Mm-hmm.
was really helpful to have a really good resource. So I felt that, that those, you know, when you're working, you can get a book like that, but you know, you just go right back to work. I mean, you just don't have time to really absorb the
Yeah.
information. So I think part of that whole healing process is taking some time off to honor
Yeah.
yourself,
Mm-hmm.
to really heal.
That's
Um,
great. So if you can, whether you're working or not, you've got to take space in your life to do that. I love the way you're describing how you integrate these changes because, we've talked a lot about adaptation. How do you adapt to what's happening and then
mhm,
integrate these changes? It really does
yeah.
take time. Do you have the author for that book there so we can
Yes.
share that?
Uh, yes. It's Judy C. Kneece, Kneece.
Okay.
She's an RN and an OCN. It says a comprehensive
Okay.
patient navigation guide to breast cancer, a
Mhm.
treatment handbook.
That's great.
So
That sounds like a really good book. And
yeah,
so when you incorporate these new things into your life and it becomes habit, it becomes what you are. And
yeah.
there's a lot of help out there for that. And there's a
Mhm.
lot of research, like Rick Hansen has done some research looking at how you actually have brain changes. Your MRI of the
Right,
brain actually shows
right,
physical
right.
changes. But I love the way you're describing it on a personal level. You've
Mhm.
got to get it into your subconscious. You have to make it so that it's now part of what your life is in what
Mhm.
you do. So that's amazing, and that's how we change,
Right,
and you
right,
have to, as a cancer
right,
patient, to really embrace what's happened
right,
and
right,
grow from
right,
it. Yeah.
right. You gave us tips for moving, just to
Mhm.
write down your goals and hang them where you can see them.
Yeah.
Just if you're, what are you going to do to exercise?
Hmm.
And what would that be? Would it be walking longer with your dog, or would it be,
Hmm.
getting on the treadmill, or would it be getting
Hmm.
in water aerobics or something like that? So,
Hmm.
you had us really write it down, look at it,
Yeah.
and see it.
Mhm.
And so you could take a part in it, like park your car farther away uh,
Yeah. That's a good
from,
one too.
from going
Right.
into the entrance, just little things like that.
Yeah.
But make a date to exercise, you said.
Yeah.
So, I
Mhm.
mean, all of that is just super important, and you record keeping your successes, keeping
Mhm.
a journal. of your successes. I worked on I bought a mindset journal at Barnes and Noble, and every day it had a different mindset of a practice of what to do. And I found that to really help me to be in the now, right now, appreciate right now. Um,
Mm.
and I think things like that, just really listening to that inner chatter, that negative
Yeah.
talk, and canceling out
Mhm.
that negative talk,
Mhm.
and just it's being the power of being optimistic is uh,
Mhm.
incredible for our lives.
It really is. You have learned so much and incorporated so much into yourself and your life and your world. This negative self-talk that we all have, we talk down to ourselves, like, what's the matter with you? Why did you do that? Oh, here we go again. These negative things that we have done
Mhm.
are so far less motivating than positive self-talk
Right,
if you try
right,
it, right?
right,
And it
right.
feels kind of funny at first, like you do something right and you say, well, good job, or, you
Mhm.
say, like, you can do this, or there's so many things like that. And Denise is referring to a webinar I do, which I will be having another one again soon, where we educate and talk about nutrition and very practical things, like you're saying about, let's not just talk about movement, let's make a plan. What are we actually going to do? And I love that walking your dog. You're walking the dog anyway, go 10 minutes further.
Right,
That counts. Like, everything does count,
right,
even like right here now, we're sitting here. Normally we would sit here and do a little movement with our arms and
right,
some slow
right,
breathing, which is
right.
a qigong move. It's so easy to incorporate that into what you do. But I love also the part where the book of setting a mindset, because
Mhm.
we can get up in the morning and our mindset may not be optimistic. It may naturally just not be in that state. But if
Mhm.
we intentionally set it, so,
Mhm.
with something inspirational or whatever works for you, everybody has to find what works for them
Mhm.
and set it to you. So optimism isn't Pollyanna positive. What it is
Mhm.
expecting a good outcome, like looking
Mhm.
for the good outcome,
Mhm.
knowing something good is going to come, and
Right,
for it to happen, then we're more
right.
likely to make it happen for whatever part we can have in it. And
Mhm.
certain things we have to learn aren't in our control, but we certainly can influence them. So yeah, there's so
Right.
much here. And I think that anyone who's listening will think, wow, she's just, better than I could ever get it all together. But what you're saying is these are changes that happen over time. So you intentionally realize, I need to do something different. You have discomfort first. Like, I'm stressed. I'm not happy today. Why am I feeling so sad? Why am I feeling so overwhelmed today? And then you go and look for something, and I think that's the key, to realize that
Mhm.
you're saying, go out and search for these things,
Mhm.
like a book at Barnes and Noble, and find the
Right,
thing that fits you, that's right for
right,
you.
right. But it's as little as an attitude of gratitude. It's
Hmm.
so simple. My best friend in Atlanta, we do this all the time. Are we going to phone call each other, or do you not have time to talk about your 3 or 4 attitude of gratitudes of the day? Please text them to me. So we text back and forth, and she'll send me what her attitude of gratitudes are. And each day it's so interesting, the things that I've learned about her that we normally wouldn't really talk about, or what she's
Oh,
grateful for. And I appreciate getting to know her even better just by finding out the little things that she's so grateful for. So Zig Ziglar used to say, you need a checkup from the neck up. So, so that is something that, just doing the attitude of gratitude, thankfulness list every day is just, it helps change your mind frame each day.
yeah.
Start your day with gratefulness, and we just
Yeah.
count our blessings more.
Yeah, that's so fascinating. I love the shared experience.
Mhm.
We have friendships, we have relationships, and then, but like you said, you're learning so much more about her, because each day you're each sharing three things. And so you're kind of revealing more of what was important to you that day. But it certainly changes the whole perspective, like your lens changes when you're focusing on
Yeah,
what went right today. How
yeah,
often at the end of the day do we see someone or call someone and say, you won't believe what happened today? We go with this litany of things that went wrong.
yeah,
could instead say, listen to what went well today. Listen to what I'm so happy and grateful for
Right,
today. I love
right.
that you do that. That sounds
Yeah,
very
yeah,
encouraging.
yeah. Yeah, well, during this process, I remember I was having a hard time trying to find the time to make some of these changes. So I actually did a vision board so that I could
Okay.
actually look at it and say, oh, okay, you kind of anchor yourself into it and know that yeah, I can get this into my day. But some of these
Mhm.
things are so simple now, and it's just a part of who you are when you make these small changes, and you
Mhm.
feel so much better about yourself. I know I do. So
Mhm.
when I was
Mm.
in Outward Bound, when I was 20, I went on an Outward Bound, and their motto was to serve, to strive, and not to yield. And I remembered that my whole life because I did an ice climbing crevasse rescues training in Outward
Wow.
Bound, and
Uh-huh.
we were at the summit on my 21st birthday, actually.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, of Silver Star Mountain in Yakima, Washington, and these are snow glaciers. Um,
Okay.
but you know that stays with you your whole life, that motto, because when you have challenges in life, and no 2 days are the same. Every day is different for everyone, because
Hmm.
our lives don't stay the same. But
Hmm.
you can handle these changes when you think about something like that, that we're here to serve, we're
Hmm.
here to strive, and don't yield, just go forward, leap forward, and do what you need to do to get through those challenges,
Oh,
whether
it's so fascinating.
yeah,
So
yeah,
serving for others, the world, others, then striving, like really strive. So strive to me sounds like it's not coming easy, but strive to get there, like make an intention to
right,
an effort. And then the next part, yielding. So
yes,
don't yield
yes,
to like
yes,
fears, worries, or
right,
made up barriers, things
right.
like that. Wow, that's really fascinating.
Right, right,
Mm.
right. So when you think about that, then I think you just evolve. We're all getting older every day.
Yeah.
And I look in the mirror some days and go, "Oh my gosh, who is this?" Oh gosh. But
Yeah.
we just have to be accepting and loving
Yeah.
other people and love ourselves. And take
Yeah.
better care of ourselves.
Yeah, the self-love is it really, so many cancer patients, it comes back, men and women, and they'll say in the end, it really comes down to self-love. And you made me think of something just then that these past experiences that we all have them, where we've had courage or we've had a challenge or we've met some challenge, carrying those forward like you did and how useful that is and how helpful to bring that forward while you're going through cancer treatment or during the survivorship period afterwards when you're resetting yourself, you're getting back to life and who am I, and getting used to all the changes. That's so important. I'm really impressed with that, just thinking about that experience. It's
Mhm.
amazing anyway, on an ice glacier at 21 and you get to the summit. That's just an amazing
Yeah,
experience
yeah,
that you even did that. But to be able to bring that and say, that's me. I
yeah.
did that. And here I am now meeting this next challenge. I had one time, there's another podcast I did, some people may have seen it, where the patient was talking about what they overcame this unbelievably difficult thing. And I was just like, wow. And they said, and guess what that got me prepared for? Because you feel like that's the biggest thing you could ever face is overcoming a really difficult cancer, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
guess what the answer was? The next challenge. I said, oh, geez. He said, yeah, what do you think life is, right?
mhm.
It's
Yeah,
one challenge. And you're
right,
saying the same
right,
thing. We're growing
right,
older. No
right,
day is the same. The next challenge, we have to
right,
evolve with time.
right.
I think anyone who's listening today should just stop for a minute, breathe, of course, breathe,
Yeah,
and then really think in my past, my track record where I did overcome something or where I adapted to something or where I met a challenge. That's me. And I'm going to bring that forward and do that now too.
right,
I think
right,
that's
right,
beautiful.
right,
That's so inspiring, Denise. That's really
right,
powerful.
right. Well,
Mm.
you told us you were talking to a patient one time and talking about their experience and that they had this advice to amor, your fate.
Oh, yes.
And so that's really important to love your fate.
Mhm.
And and then, when you do that, you move forward with more confidence
Mhm.
and more love in your heart. And and that's what we're here for, to help other people. Like you're having this great conversation today so that we can help other people go through this
Right.
process. They can do it and they will do it, and they'll learn so much about their life and themselves,
Mm.
and it's just every day is a different passage, with different things we go through.
That's so true. And that love your fate, that was in a support group, which brings us to that part too, because like you're saying, everything you've mentioned is yourself as well as others. There's so much we can learn from other patients. So find a support group, find a book like you did, find a gym with the support group, or find an online support group, find other people, reach out to people you already know, like you have, and enhance those relationships too. But there's so much to learn from other patients, like from your experience today. I mean, they're like 5 to 10 gems of ideas, and these are real things you've been through and realized and understood. And like you said, now we're sharing it, for other people to hear, because it will inspire within them how they can do the same, for the plight that they're having or the situation they're in. It's just so amazing.
Mhm.
All of this time, you've had a really strong family support. And I know you have sisters, and you
Mhm.
even went on a trip, right? A sister
Right.
trip.
Sister
That would
trip.
sound like that was good timing. So
Right.
very
Right.
healing.
Right,
Hmm.
very healing. Yeah, just to have time together and share what I'm learning so that I can help teach them.
Hmm.
So we get on the bed in the hotel in our trip, and I'd have my nutrition journal and my nutrition book with me, and my handouts that you've given us, and just sharing what we've learned. And they're like, oh my
Yeah.
gosh, this is a wealth of information, and
Hmm.
it's nice to see them change their habits as well you
Hmm.
know. Um, so,
Yeah, because the so-called anti-cancer diet, or what we do, is healthy for really anyone, but also healthy in the sense of inflammation, which is underlying so many illnesses. So, and it's one piece of something you could do for yourself. We can't control everything, but we can influence, certainly. And it gives you a sense of being able to do the right thing to influence. I was thinking that your husband was also a really, really good support. And, it's not one person that goes through cancer. There's always a husband, a spouse, somebody else. It really affects everyone. And if you were to give any advice to any of the caregivers out there today, who they're
right.
not a patient, but they are trying to help someone who is, would you have any special advice, you think, for a caregiver as well?
Just find a family member or a girlfriend or someone to go with you, to go to your
Mhm.
appointments with you. Um,
Mhm.
it was helpful for me because you're kind of stunned going through this whole process, and my husband could sit there and take notes. So
Mhm.
um, that was really helpful, and then we could go over it when we got home. But I think it's
Mhm.
just having that emotional support and just
Mhm.
someone physically being there, or someone
Yeah.
driving you there, or
Mhm.
having the emotional support. I feel is really important.
Yeah. And then caregivers know that just being there, it matters, it counts. Like just your presence, your emotional support, and
Mhm.
have patience,
Mhm.
right? Have
Right,
patience
right,
because,
right,
yeah, neither of you have been through this before. It's new.
right,
It's a lot of information. You're stunned at first, and it doesn't just stop there. It's just beginning. Then you have
right,
to go through surgeries, possibly treatment, and then
right.
afterwards, when you're no longer seeing the doctors, then you need other support, right? Because that's different.
Absolutely.
Well, now at this point, do you still see your doctor, or what do you have to do?
Oh, yeah. Oh, right. Well, you're still on your medications,
Yeah.
that they recommend that you take. So you take those for several years, and then you still see your oncologist, and, I'm still in the support system. So that's good. And, um, taking the Qigong is wonderful. The
Mhm.
Zooms for that. And
Mhm.
just having a good support system, and just what I read is different now, um, just you know um, different books on breathing or
Mhm.
just how to be a lot healthier,
Mhm.
nutrition books or gut health books, that type of thing. So you kind of involve in another area of your life just to be
Mhm.
healthier all in all.
Mhm. Wow, this has been just like it's a fun conversation. I enjoy seeing you and talking with you, but
Thank
it
you.
also, in my mind, everyone who listens to this should listen again and take some notes, because there's so much here that you can actually tangibly do. It's a way of thinking, and you've
Mhm.
described so beautifully. It's a way of thinking and changing your
Mhm.
view and knowing that you can do this and you can evolve and you can change your mindset, but it's also a way of being. And there's so many tangible, practical things,
Mhm.
easy things that you can do and then enjoy them. Find something you
Right,
enjoy,
right.
especially exercise. It's got to be something. You have to find something that you can enjoy, you know.
Right, right.
Yeah.
We all want to be healthier, so it's a healthier lifestyle. So,
Yeah.
mhm.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for
Oh,
today. Yeah,
you're
and really
welcome. Thank
appreciate
you.
it. And I just want to repeat to everybody, find us. We want to hear from you. Comments, questions. You'd like to come on and talk with us or come on and tell your story. Whatever you have, please share it. Either if you go to YouTube, you can always share right there comments on YouTube. And I do look at them, so I will see them and I do respond. Or you can also email us at creation balance to
Mhm.
run those two words together at yahoo.com, or go right to the website. You can always send a message through the website as well. And we welcome your insights. And if you need help, please reach out for help. It's available. So, let us know. And I guess with that, we'll sign off and thank you very much. I appreciate you being
Oh,
here and being who you are.
oh, thank you so much. Have a great day.
Thank you, you too.